As you can see the title and seeing the cover of this video, is this obviousness that there's a problem with pedophilia in these agencies. And for me, I've made it clear. Not only I know they do the pedophilia type of torture, I know they torture children. But on top of that, finding out that agencies in charge of this program, which target individual, we are human subjects in the developing of this weapon. They've been trying to create some fantasy in their mind, like it's war, it's not war, we're just human subjects. And they contract civilians. And it's funny, it's not funny, but I was reading an article from Daniel Payne. This guy was in charge from 2016 to 2019 of like the background checking, the security, cybersecurity of like people who have access to like sensitive, matter of fact, all DoD, but really focusing on the individual who will have access to a very sensitive information. And he was saying that because of the amount of people they have to continuously contract, to continuously, what he called it, developing weapons, was it needed to, because of that there was a high need of a lot of employees in order to keep the developing specifically, which I would consider this being one of this. So I'm sure that they need to hire a lot of people to participate in this program in order to implement this thing. So you understand, we're just human subject. This thing they're doing is just developing technology, right? They are in a developing technology, developing weapon, which is continuously improve on it by utilizing human subjects and doing things to the human subjects to continuously feed data in improving this. And for us, target individual, you know what it means? It means that they're going to go through the same scripts, the same tactics, the textbook tactics they've been implementing onto a lot of us. That's why it's surreal when you hear other people saying same thing that you're saying, right? But they try to kind of counter it. With me, they're like, no, with you, what we did, we just were mapping. So what's happening is, like, you felt like that, like this before, right? They give you sexual stimulation, but did you feel like sometime, like, and then try to make you believe that you felt like this at some point, and try to like play with your brain. And it's like, if you felt like this, that we mapped it. It's mapping it. Basically, what they're trying to say is, we make you feel something that you felt before, but we're just kind of rewiring things around for you to feel it, and want you to subscribe to it. So basically, they're saying they are manipulating your brain, but it was somewhere in your brain before. So we're just kind of putting things back together. We're looking where, initially they would talk about it was you when you were a child. What we did is like make you think. It was like you. Obviously, it's just they're manipulating you to experience this. They're forcing you to experience something that you would not experience naturally. And these people, their job is at this point to make you accept that they do make you accept this manipulation as if it's happening naturally. And of course, because it's not gonna be, you're never gonna subscribe to it, they try to then create a logic of retardation. They're thinking that I'm going to subscribe to this. First of all, we've been validated that these people are filled with pedophiles. These agencies are filled with pedophiles. They've been doing this pedophilia type of torture. And with me, they try to use this like intellectual young professionals, like, oh, mapping, right? And I'm like at work, they talk about mapping. I'm like, oh, really? That's what you guys do? You've been mapping for a long time. Matter of fact, there's mappers right now in these agencies. They just like, remember like the 5,200 mappers? They think that I'm going to let them escape. So what are you mapping the pedophilia type of torture to? In your analytic ways of reviewing things. I'm supposing that you're not familiar with this, right? Stupidity. They literally force you to get this nasty stimulation and then make you think of children. And then for me, they try to make me think like, did you feel like that at one point? Especially when you're a childhood or something. It's like, no, you're making me feel this way. And then you've been doing that so much now that you've conditioned me to experience that. And they can also manipulate your memory to experience that. So now in your memories, that's that kind of feeling. It's like they create something that almost make it feel like you felt something like that, but turn into sexual. To make you believe that you experienced this false reaction before. And at this point, it's like, listen, are you doing the pedophilia type of torture or are you mapping? And you're so validated, it's beyond. So when you hear these people try to like, are you fucking retarded? Look who's talking about mapping. You a bunch of pencils. This entity shows that they're a bunch of pedophiles. You think they're mapping when they download child porn? We are rewired to think about children in disturbing ways. They literally condition us. This morning, what they did, they started making me have like sexual stimulations, and then made me think of this little adorable baby and think that I'm going to subscribe to that. And really try to connect this sexual stimulation with this baby. And say, now we mapped it. No, you are rewiring my brain to make me experience this thing this way. I'll never be myself, but I'll recognize the manipulations. And you guys actually work for entities where there's a lot of real problem with pedophilia, while you are here manipulating somebody, changing somebody to be somebody he's not. The noise campaign, all of that is part of you. It's part of what they're supposed to break you down with. The noise campaign is supposed to make you believe that this is you. You know, with baby it's like trash. 5,000 or so, just pedophiles, just accidentally caught. You are conditioning my brain to think about children these ways. It's something done to me systematically. But it's not just to me. That's the thing that makes it even more validating. It's just happening to so many others. And like, now we debunked you. You debunked that you do the peripheral type of torture? Is that what you're saying? Are you saying there's no like a tactic of pedophilia utilized here? Is that what you try to tell me? Is that why you're diverging? They do these terrible things to people, forcing us to have stimulation to our babies and try to change us and say, now we're mapping. For me, it's like I'm looking at these people just turning into retards in front of me, thinking, because what they try to do is just really gaslight you. And they're like comical. And they're like left to each other. Because somebody asked me, were you able to map things up? I was like, no, I mapped whatever I can to something untrackable. And they start laughing at each other. I'm like, okay, so you think that's, no. I know you do the pedophilia type of torture, my friend. I know. Matter of fact, not only you do the pedophilia type of torture, I know that you torture children. The stimulations and everything you make me have, that's what you force me to have. You know what else I know? I know there's a bunch of pedophiles in these agencies. Are they being mapped or what? Like, or are they the one mapping me? Delusional shit. And they're like, no, you abuse, you molest. Oh, what? What they do to children is things that are most disgusting. And they tell themselves they are ward. Look at your trash as you over there on a remote meeting. You're a loser, trash, bottom feeder working for pedophiles. You sold your soul to pedos. And you're going to frame me even by implanting child porn? Because you're mapping? Oh, you're going to frame me? That's everything you do shows what you're part of. For me, I'm like that close to say something. I look at them and just like, you a piece of shit. I'd rather fucking die in hell. Look at you, trash ass. You work for pedophiles. You've been humiliated by reality and you talk about mapping. You debunked me. You debunked that you do the pedophilia type of torture. Trash, you do this shit. And try to use this woke, progressive look. Trash ass. And then, you know what they used to say? They say, you felt like that when you were a kid. Oh, so you're making me like a kid. That makes a lot of sense now. I wonder if I mapped you, what I can do to you. How can you become something? Delusional trash. They are literally rewiring you and conditioning you to make you accept these things. This baby, I will never have this nasty sexual stimulation. But you can make me have these things when you crank up whatever you do in my brain, manipulate me. They're mean in the sense that they do pedophilia type of torture, but it doesn't stop there. They're mean in the sense they also torture children. And they've been humiliated by the reality of what they do. Not only they do the pedophilia type of torture, but it's seen that there's a problem with pedophilia in this agency, and it's not exaggerated. Matter of fact, I think it's on the plate. Because I didn't understand it. When they say, there's so many pedophiles in this agency, why are they letting that? I didn't understand. I thought maybe a couple hundred here and there. Nope. It's a lot more than that. Even 100, I was like, maybe that's like too much. No, it's thousands. And this is accidental. This Daniel Payne, who says it's unbelievable the amount of child porn he sees on the government devices, I wonder, like, For him to say unbelievable, and the amount of people he oversees or overseed at the time, the number must be crazy. And you have this trash like we mapped it. You could feel like that if you felt like, no, you are literally manipulating my brain. I can feel the heat in my brain and I can feel my brain being manipulated. But that's your job. That's the task. And then you have people in front of you try to be like, it's like, you're mapping. Like you're mapping the references. I was like, oh, delusional shit. No, you're making my brain think in this way, conditioning my brain in this way, and then try to make me believe that I experienced that at some point in my childhood or sometime in my childhood. Or you could make me feel like that if you increase this. Yes, you can make me experience things like that because you're in my brain. And at one point they're like, how come you're feeling this? It's because there's some kind of device that can make my brain experience things that I would not experience naturally. Of course you can make me experience this way because you're in my brain manipulating me. You who are used to do this pedophilia type of torture. And they use these retards to think they're going to make me subscribe. And these people in front of me, they are turned into retards. This mass shooter just killed 18 people because they're being called pedophile. That's all it took. There's a pattern that is beyond systematic. And in my brain, they're like, no, you're going to be raped. I was like, I'd rather get raped. You can't even say Roy Moore. Your entities contracting you low life are filled with pedophiles. They were trying to kind of counter that. And you are here torturing babies. And you are here just, no, we're mapped. Trash. And then try to talk about some work stuff. And the references and the mapping. I'm like, you. As I'm listening to, almost all target individuals are forced to see child porn in their mind. I'm listening to somebody saying that. 1,000 target individuals ask the same question about what symptom they're experiencing. And they're like, all of them say they experience some child porn implanted in their mind. What kind of debunking do you need to do that to stop that? In my first petition in regard to target individuals, they were literally saying remote pedophilia. What kind of mapping should I get to that? Should I map this? Should I assess this? Retards. They rewiring your brain. They are literally changing who you are, stealing you, like this guy said. They make it seem like they're just reporting, they're reviewing this retardation of, I know what this program is about. It's about the ability to change somebody, to control somebody, and to make that person break his ego, break his self-image. I've understood. What you're doing is called gaslighting. You think that I'm going to look at you in a credible way. And somehow, because you talk about mapping, because when we do this tracking of like this analytical thing for marketing, you need to track where this source come from. It's like, you have to map it. It's like, and now they're like, oh, you see mapping, you see, like, that's how retarded they want me to be. And first of all, I know who put me in this program. And like, it's over. It's been over so long ago. They were laughing at me on August 19, 2019. This woman is like, oh, he doesn't even know he's dead. He's laughing, he doesn't know he's dead. I was like, what? I'm very much alive. I'm here. Before that, they were looking at me as like dead man walking. They have used these losers, and it's just disturbing. They have this like progressive woke fraudulency about them. That is so disgusting. It's like, it's over, we won. It's like, what? You won? It's been over so long ago. It's been over before you even knew me. The government will destroy me. Like the government can destroy anybody. Like they can destroy you if they want you. You are nothing. Keep talking about mapping references from source codes or whatever. Do you think I'm going to be like, no, they're not doing the pedophilia type of torture. They're mapping to the references. But no, you are forcing me to experience some nasty things. This technology's weapon is meant to rewire your brain. It's supposed to control this. What do you think this is mapping? What? It's like, you think people want to be like, oh, well, let's map to somebody's brain when it's a child developing brain. It's like, what the fuck is that? What retardation is that? You think that's what the DOD wants to do? That the DOD wants to be like, oh my gosh, how was he thinking when he was a child? Let's make him think like a child, because that's the true self of somebody. What the fucking retardation is that? That's the people that are supposed to gaslight me into accepting this. It's like, now when he was a kid, now let's do like even that's the logic when they want me to think in this logically. That the Department of Defense will want to make somebody be a child again. And that's when he's his true self. No. What this is about is to weaponize somebody's brain. To break him down with, or her down with, these disturbing things they can make experience. They do the pedophilia type of torture because anybody will break down from that. And then they try to make you be identifying with these things. And then they're like, oh no, you used to think like that when you were a kid. And then they send these retards like, nah, we debunked it. We don't. And then you hear everybody saying, they do this pedophilia type of torture. There's people around me or try to change who I am. Now you were mapping to you when you were a kid. Retardation. And then they try to talk about me as a kid. The stupid thing I did in middle school. And having to exaggerate. I was listening to this trash like, you molesting you. And it's like, trash. You actually molest children using this technology. They do these horrible things to children. They sexually torture children. They sexually harm children. Molesting type of torture. With this sophisticated technology that can do so much to you. Make you feel that things are happening to you. Even though there's nothing around you. This is how sophisticated this technology is. And this is why it's a weapon. It can feel like a ghost is doing something to you. You feel... at one time, I felt like my butt... my rectum being expanded. They could do things like that. But imagine those things like sexual to kids. That's the stuff they do. They molest them using remote technology. And not only just molesting, it's more than just sexual torture. They suffocate them too. And the entities contracting this trash, what a bunch of pedos doing things to kids. And they're like, oh, our children pay and trash us. You pay what? You involved in the program that's out here suffocating a 7-year autistic child? And they tell me how they wait for me and they'll be tortured. Okay. And that's not going to change that you work for people who fill with pedophiles in these agencies. People who torture children. And some of these people have participated in the torture of children and for sure women. And nobody waiting for me is going to change this reality. You're just a loser the government need to do these things, to implement these tactics. They need a lot of help in that. Because who's going to be there? They need some retards to continuously try to gaslight somebody, to break them down. You are a help for this. Your retardation is in need. And they have a bunch of these retards who try to say they debunked me. It's like, wait. So you're saying that you don't do the pedophilia type of torture? You make me think like a child. Is that your logical sense? Is that your logical debunking right now? You, in a program that does these things, where almost all target individuals are forced to see child porn in their brain. What is that for? Is that the mapping program? No, it's to condition the brain. They train your brain to think about kids like that. And they give you stimulations. Stimulation sense, it's disgusting. You see the little babies and then give a sexual stimulation. The little chubby chicks, adorable. And then you change it into something nasty and sexual. It's like, no, it's so mapped. No, it's so manipulated. But that's what they do. And they want you to look at them as like, then die. I'd rather fucking die in hell than live like the way you live. I could have been a grown man, a grown woman, doing these things and having to counter the reality. The humiliations. It is so beyond humiliating. Not only you're trying to make yourself be like, no, we're different. Like, no, you're not. You do the same exact stuff, same stuff that you've been doing for years. This psyop, a bunch of females participating in that. Yes, women have said that. And those entities mapping. What's happening to all this mapping? Why is there so many pedophiles in these agencies if they're also mapping? They even downloading child. They're catching them on using government devices, downloading child porn on the government devices. On the government devices. It's not even like their private. This is how nasty it is. It's not even their private computers. Their government devices. Their intelligence community devices. Well, these retards are like, no, we debunked it. You see when you were a kid. Fucking retards. We mapped it. That's what they say. He mapped it to you when you were. And then you see the 5,000 or so people working at Pentagon downloading child porn. Do you know how they caught them? It was such an accident. I think it was in 2010. There was this big operation where they were trying to track this child porn website that was like international, and they have like Homeland Security and all this like immigrant, like, because it's global. Guess where it goes to? Whoop. Back home. Boom. Real close to home. The Pentagon. Thousands of employees downloading from that website. In every way, they've been humiliated, and then you hear this retarded, it's like, help you. I will be in such a horrible pain and torture because of the humiliation of reality. And in their mind, to trick themselves, to make them believe, now we proved it so hard that look at how much it's going to be tortured. It's obviously so him that he's going to be tortured, he's going to be screaming, he's going to be cut in pieces, he's going to be raped repeatedly, he's going to be tortured every day. That's proof that we don't do the pedophilia type of torture and we protect children. They retarded. I'd rather scream in that horrible place. I could have gone somewhere where this torture would not be applied at this level. But here, I get to see this fucking low life. In meetings, looking at them while reading, like listening to what they do. Listening to this trash. Yeah, oh, okay. Oh, you mapped it. I'm listening. And they've been manipulating my brain to make me think and look at kids in these nasty ways. These patterns the patterns that you get, the validation that you get. Like, listen, a woman literally saying that they've been making me feel this weird sensation and stimulations. They started off with the dog, and then they started doing that toward toward people, young people, children, and homosexual. They did the same toward men too. They were making me have strong stimulation. I was like, I don't care. I'm like, man, would I care? Then I would be gay. That wouldn't break me down. It was kind of annoying, but it's not me. I don't like it's not. It's what's annoying is it's not me, but I don't care. If I was gay and I had sexual stimulation toward men, it's nothing, whatever. Then I'm gay. So that's not gonna break me down. The only annoyance about it is just it's not me. So I'm being forced to be somebody I'm not. But do I care if in my life if I was gay? And if I had sexual stimulation and it was natural, no. Then that's that. I'm gay. They try to do these things. But the kids, the baby, that's disgusting. And then they were like, no, you feel like that when you're kids. And they truly created a battle. And mind you, that was before I knew about the obvious tactics. But it's like, it makes no sense. Why am I'm not a child. So when he's saying that's how I was when I was a kid. What? I'm a grown man. In my 30s, can you imagine? They try to look at you and it's like, no, we're making you think like when you were 12 years old, 13 years old, 14. And you're in your 30s and you're like, what the fuck? But then you found out the reality that they do the pedophilia type of torture. There was this grown man who was telling, no, it's you when you're 14 years old. Well, you see the cover of what's happening in these agencies. Can you imagine? Well, these people are like down in shop when they are here. No, it's here when you're. Of course, I know at this point what they were doing is just trying to break me down. They were trying to break my self-image, and they wanted me to subscribe to these things. And so, whenever I'm gonna go, it's funny because what they're saying to me is like, oh, when they're gonna frame you. Boop. That's already a validation. When they're gonna frame you, because they say they're gonna frame me, they have this child-like trash that's gonna say that did something to them. And when they're going to frame you, the person's going to torture you, he'll talk. I'm so thankful that you have to live your life. I know this person is going to not talk to me. It's going to be a lot of pain. But you have been living a humiliating life, my friend. You work for pedophiles. You have to talk about torture as if it's going to stop the fact that you are here. Trying to counter the fact that you're trying to make people accept the pedophilia type of torture in a program where you actually torture children. And the agencies that contracted your dumbass to be doing your dumbass things are filled with pedos. And you're here, hell talk, Trust me, I will never look at this retard who say, you'll talk is the one. No. I had a grown-ass man try to make me subscribe. Because they do that to like the babies, to even the older kids. There was like this 13-year-old kid that was dancing, this Indian kid. And they would try to make me subscribe to this. It's like, no, Billy Eilish, shut the fuck up, grown-ass man. I'm sorry for the language. I don't want to curse, but sometimes the emotions of hearing these perps interacting with me via V2K, trying to make you accept these things, and knowing that you've been so validated, it's just so, it's surreal, the level of like validation you get. You will never be in life more validated than when you become a target individual and start hearing people saying the same things exactly the same way. And you have these retards like, now we mapped it to you when you were a kid. And then you hear this retard that they contracted. I'm sorry for using this R word. There's nothing, there's no words I can describe the way they describe them. To hear this childlike individual whose her job, I guess, is to frame me. She's like, we met, you were our soulmate. I was like, shut up. We met, your parents sold you literally to pedophiles. You sold your soul to pedos. The amount of child was unbelievable. I don't feel bad for you, but if I was a better person, maybe I would feel bad for you. But I'm sorry, I'm not perfect. I cannot feel bad for somebody who's planning on framing me, even though if it's a child. I'm not there yet. I'm not that much of a saint. But if I was there, I'll feel bad for this trash who's being told, and they make them believe that they're brave for doing that. We're doing that because you're gonna pay for what you've done. I was like, what? You know what you mean, right? You know there's blood in the hands of the people who tell you what to do. Of babies, of women, of terrible things. You are a coward. That's what cowards do. You're being told by cowards to do the most cowardly things, and they're sending you, as coward as it is, a child, to do these things, and then lie to you that this brave. It's so nasty. You know, I saw this woman tell me, oh, he's such a brave, because I went to this jury duty thing, and this man who did something to his child, and this poor kid said something. They were trying to compare this child of this man that was doing things to his own child to this trash who's gonna frame me. Trash ass. The way they trick themselves is just things that you know that's gonna come back to them. Ever since she tried to create that thing, I'm like, are you retarded? You're going to compare to a child who literally was molested by his father, to a trash who's working a program where they torture children, who's going to try to frame me and call this trash brave as this baby who just got molested by his father? These people are this shit is at the same level as the father that molested his child. They are like this. This kid is strong. Don't put this nastiness in comparison to her. This baby had the worst thing happen to her, and you have this trash try to compare those two? You fucking low life. Nasty low life. This coward that's telling you, where's Sam, man? Pooh, fucking trash. Well, this baby is being molested by her own father. And try to compare these things. This trust is literally working for entities where there's a bunch of pedophiles doing things to 2-year-old and 6-year-old. This program itself tortured children sexually. And you hear this trust, you love me, huh? Dude, the way they talk to me, I'm sorry if I get too emotional, but that's how they interact with me. She sold this. The parents should go to hell for selling their own children to these pedophiles. And you're gonna get yours for trying to make this retard, which is a child, think that makes her brave. What do you think is gonna happen in her life? You destroyed her life. This is the most cowardly thing you can ever do in your life. And then compared to a child who actually was molested by her father, and you have these retards who's gonna come up with these bullshit stories? No. I'm just thankful I didn't have to live this life. I'm just so thankful. And they were like, no, but what you did as a kid. It's like, what I did as a kid? What? What you guys do to kids? How you torture sick? She's in a program that literally tortures children sexually. She has to be even more of a child than she is already a child. She, it's bad when children have to be even more childlike. When children become more mentally behind, purposely, to agitate you. Her family destroyed her life. There's no coming back from this. And this trash, this fake work, try to tell, oh, she's brave. What? You nasty lowlife. How can you even try to compare a child who actually was molested by her father with some lowlife in a program where they do sexual torture? They manipulate people's brain, condition them to have sexual stimulation toward children. And her job in this program now is to participate in a framing, saying that something happened to her. To frame this guy. Wow. So much nastiness you put on this kid life. That's it. There's no coming back from this level. And you are a nasty lowlife to try to hype this retard of a child. To think that's normal. To make him believe he's brave. The cowardness of that. That's why I'm just thankful. I'm thankful that I never had to live life doing the things they do. Some trash is like, oh, it's normal what you do as a kid. No, a kid can do impossible things. But grown-ass trash cannot... Is it normal to be involved in a program that torture babies? Torturing infants. Even sexually torturing. Kids. That's the most normal of it all. That is the most normal. That's when you know you're the most normal. When you're involved in a program that can do sexual torture of a 3-year-old boy. Fucking retards. To all target individuals, I'm sorry for the language, but sometimes I have to release this verbal. I need to let that happen because I see these people in person and I have to hold it in. And they hear this trash like it's normal trash. Is it normal when you hear a 7-year-old kid being suffocated by the Department of Defense Technology? That's the most normal, right? So to all target individuals, speak, let it go, but do not harm this low life. They're just trash. Let their death be their own. People who live this kind of life, what do you think is going to happen to them? Cowards and low life that use this facade and psyops and using V2K to sound in this menacing, fierce way. In person, you see them for the shit that they are. Stay strong. Stay strong. Know that you're dignified.